I knew it. I knew it. I knew I shouldn't have trusted it. Sorry for the awful exposure. Hi, it's me. Just came from the rain. A little soggy. Forgive the sogginess. Hi. Um, what do I do with all this hair? One of these days I'm going to get a haircut. I don't want to say it. It's too morbid. Um, I had some notion of when I would cut my hair, but it's sad to say. It's still a mess behind me because I was working on a thing. And that's what happens when you work on a thing. It's bad. I gotta clean up in here. I did a very deep clean of the rest of the apartment, but it was definitely one of those things that sort of like as I cleaned the rest of the apartment, to maintain balance in the universe, the office got worse. So I need to do something. But I'm trying to get back into it, trying to get back into streaming. I'm definitely not used to waking up and like not having a job. It's weird to wake up and not feel like the immediate dread of like, oh, I gotta get on this morning call and I gotta like get feedback for what I did yesterday. And, I'm not anti-feedback. I think you want to make things better. You've got to like go through the cycle. But how do I want to put this? So I do a lot of work that is like technical artist work, and sometimes that's a very technical thing, and sometimes it's a very art thing. The technical side of things, unless something is just truly broken or not performing well or whatever, I have a great degree of agency over what I do on the technical side. On the art side, it's just right in front of people's faces. And so, of course, there's lots of opinions about it. Again, not bad, but can be a little draining to just start your day every day with like, here's a long list of everything that you worked hard on that you've got to rework. That's a dour way of putting it. It's really not quite that bad. And this last project, the people were lovely, but just my own personality, it is sometimes hard to have daily feedback. And today, the daily feedback comes from me. So this is after I got off the stream last night, I went back and did some quick changes here to get a little bit more Jetsons-y. There's still work to do on that, but I think the just overall look of it is so dramatically improved from this angle. I think we want to take that angle, whatever that angle is. I think we want to find it here as well. I think not 1,000% sold on that, but I think that's something we want to do. Two big things to address. So there's certainly some more visual tuning like that, that will just be a thing that continues in life. Like I kind of like that this pairs with this. That feels pretty intentional, but it's, I don't know, still a little too shoe-like or something. There's just something, I don't know, maybe it's fine actually. I don't know, definitely getting to a second and third and fourth and fifth guessing. Some things we absolutely have to address though. Some things that are critical to address. The most broken thing is there are little knobs in here and there's not enough clearance. So that is the thing that just absolutely has to be addressed. That is a failure. So we need to address that failure. The second thing is sort of an assembly strategy that I was thinking for this morning, because joinery like this sucks. Just like butt joint, it gets big flat plane, like perpendicular is not great, especially with thin supports like this. So like there's a billion ways to do it and line it up and clamp it and whatever, but I could also just try to make my life a little easier by building in some fastening positions, which will also help with being able to fasten a front and back panel. So there's, I have an idea to do that I don't think will be too terribly complicated. So yeah, I think we want to address the knobs first, and it's up in the air how detailed I want to get with these knobs. Initial instinct is not very detailed, but I think I just want to be able to see that first. So let's switch over here. I know Skojo is streaming right now and I feel bad. Obviously all the Sudoku people are watching Skojo, as they should be. So we want to revisit this. I'm not sure why it's okay. Anywho, So we ended up with two bodies here. One is the, we have a lower, we have an upper. And now I think we want to think about the placement of the knobs. And I think we want to do it relative to this surface. So I think we want to sketch just on this surface. Just because we know it's at an angle and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Top is not going to be right though. Actually, how do you do this? When you have made a surface like this, how do you frame it properly? Like, normally if you say, like if I just go into the sketch, it will auto frame it. I don't know how to actually redo the frame because we're not looking straight down here. There's a little bit of an angle. I don't know how to do that. Anywho, let's think about this. Fusion's going up in price next year. I should have purchased, especially now that, actually that would not be an unwise thing to do probably. Shoot. Yeah, bummer. Like I could buy it at the full current price, but there's no deals. Maybe there'll be a Christmas miracle deal. I definitely should have purchased this, whatever, a month ago when it was half price, because now the half price deals are not going to be very good. Shoot. The good news is I don't have to pay for Unity anymore, so that's great. Still pay for Adobe, which hurts my feelings every day, because Adobe sucks. So, okay, what I think we want to start with is just a rectangle. And we can just put it anywhere. And it's just going to be like a construction line kind of thing. And these, again, these are not outrageously precise measurements, or even remotely precise measurements. We're going to put this in at 11 millimeters from the top, because all I care about here is clearance. So I'm going to exaggerate whatever I end up with anyway. So we want 11 millimeters from the top. We want something like, well, 81 millimeters from the side, from this side. Oops. And then oops. This side. I don't think they're symmetrical, but maybe they are. They are not at all symmetrical. They're decidedly unsymmetrical. This is more like 84 millimeters on this side. 81 millimeters on this side. It's really like 81 and a half, but hey. So 84 millimeters. And then the height of these to the bottom, a little hard to say. Let's say something like 9 millimeters. So that is kind of the layout of where these exist. Do I want to actually bother trying to make some little knobbies here and extrude them, or do I just want to extrude this? I don't know. Oops. I don't really know the best way to do this. So if this was 9 millimeter, we could probably do something like this and something like this. That's not quite right though. And then do a pattern to repeat this across is a thing we could do. So if we picked this and we did a rectangular pattern and we just went like this basically, and we have 8 of these, and we only have 1 of these. Somehow that doesn't look right. Why doesn't that look right? Maybe it's right. That looks further apart than these really are. So that's 22.2 mil between. That's not even kind of right. What have I done? So 8 of these. There's 8 of these. The full width of the whole party. Do I have some other measurement wrong? That would be amazing. Let's try this again. That edge to edge is something like 81. This edge to edge is something like 84. That means this middle portion from here to here. Maybe I have the overall dimensions wrong and my whole thing is wrong. That would be kind of cool. 165. That doesn't seem right. It's actually relatively close. It's a little bit over, but not horribly so, shockingly. I did 81 on that side, which looks to be about right. On this side, yeah, something like 84 on this side. So why is that? What did I do wrong then? Oh, is it the diameter of these just outrageously wrong? No. 9 mil. Oh. No, that is the diameter, right? That's the full diameter, not just the radius. The full diameter is 9 mil. So, what? That should be 22 center to center. Maybe it is. Maybe this is right. 22 center to center. Maybe that's what I did wrong a moment ago. No, that actually seems right. Okay, 22 center to center. Okay, never mind. Everything's perfect. I guess that's helps reinforce my other measurements. Okay, let's extrude all these. I'm sure there's a better way to do this. Can I just Control A or something? Straw box or something? So the height here is what we're really concerned with. And the height is again something like 9 mil. And this is we're gonna see our sadness now. When we try to look at the whole dude, because I think we're gonna have a lot of intersection back here. And we do. Really bad. Super duper bad. So we have a few options on this. Few options on this. One is to reduce, just make the bottom shelf not extend back that far. Or even have like a little cutout or something where those go, is one possibility. That makes that piece a little more annoying. I mean, otherwise if it's just a rectangle, it's easy to cut on the table saw. If I have this, suddenly dimensions matter a little more. Maybe cut it on the router. I actually don't really want to raise it a ton. because that's going to make this internal height, which I hopefully get that part today to think about what I want that height to be. But I would sort of prefer, so either this goes up or there's a cutout, I guess, is the takeaway here. But going up, it's definitely not ideal. What do we want to do here? Could also just make this piece not have, make this piece have less depth, which is a maybe. But then if we wanted to like fasten something on the back, or I don't know. I'm also slightly worried about this dimension. Is that a straight line, actually? So I'm just thinking about where a Raspberry Pi sits, and then really where the battery pack sits, because that is going to be big. What is this dimension? Oh, that's not right. 53 mil. Because you could kind of imagine that the back panel is where the Raspberry Pi is. I guess you could also imagine that the front panel is where the Raspberry Pi is. I wonder when that thing gets delivered, because it would be really helpful to have it. I don't think there were dimensions. Oh no. Could imagine like trying to mount all the electronics on the front panel. The angle that it comes in is a little obnoxious. Like the footprint of a Pi is something like 60 millimeters ish on the short side. Gosh, this is way smaller than I think it is, isn't it? This height, I think, is actually a lot smaller than I imagine it is. Because even this Raspberry Pi on its side, that's 53 millimeters tall. Raspberry Pi, if you count for the ports, sorry, even not accounting for the ports, is something like 56 tall, or on the short side, and then the long side, just the board is like 85. But once you account for, yeah, I mean it's close to 100 millimeters. Just if you want clearance on the sides, and if you go this way, it's like 100 by 60 or something. What is this depth currently? So that's a little better, kind of. I mean, there's a little nook in there. What did we say this was, though? This wasn't that big. That's only 80. So that ends up being almost a little square. Okay, so we definitely have some concerns here. Not even thinking about the dumb knobs. So we definitely, well, gosh, I wish I had that piece. So when we have the battery pack is on the way and the speaker is on the way, they need to fit in here, both of them. And it's almost certainly not big enough to do that right now. Also, we need the, but you know what? I'm kind of okay with this. Like, two things, I guess. This almost certainly needs to be taller, which is kind of a maybe. Like, we've got to do something about this thing, right? Something has to happen with this. That's a requirement here. And then once that happens, we need to, whether it moves up or we do a cutout, we've got to think about kind of the internal space we have here. But there's really no reason that this can't come out substantially, right? Like that this back piece comes out even more. And the reason I kind of like that is we know we have a minimum of one wire coming out of this object. And it's a big fat USB-B cable as well. So it just, are there right angle USB-B connectors? Probably. Yeah, but I don't want micro USB-B. I want just, we need something like this. But we want it to be very short. So we want, yeah, something like this. Is that the actual angle that we want, though? We want something that goes up, and we want, I think we want the exact opposite of this, unfortunately. That angle's down. We need to angle up. These are about right. Okay, they have down, up, left, and right. How exciting. Although their definition of what is up and down may be different. No, this is what we want. Oh, this one you get one of each. That's kind of nice. Good for future reference, but I think in this case, in this case we would want the up. So that would help if we made that back piece deeper. Probably just get that. Where's that silly USB speaker we were shopping for? But I'm almost sure I didn't get this one. I'm almost sure I got this 8-watt one. So if we just take this at face value, I don't need a 700-foot long cable. I wish that was not the case, but if we take this at face value, that's not what I want at all. Just 2.2 inch, 1.8. This ignores all the radii, but we don't really care about the radii. Wish I could do. Can I do this? I want to. Anyway, we then need. But just a rectangle. No, center rectangle. So this is 1.8 inches, and this is 7.2 inches, and then we need to extrude up 2.2 inches. So this is the basically the footprint of this. There's certainly a big fillet on the these sides, like a really big fillet. Maybe not that big. But something like this, I think, is roughly the speaker. And then the cable comes out somewhere. Who knows where? Who knows where the cable comes out? Probably dead center, if I had to guess. Why does this not give me a... Oh, it does. I can just barely see it. Love these setups. Love everybody's setups. Does anyone show the back of this thing? Is that old versus new? Oh, the Bluetooth. I don't think I got that. Oh, an Anchor brand. That one costs more. What are we looking at? Oh, it's Netflix. Does no one show the back of this object? Come on, somebody. Somebody does. Somebody's going to show me the back of this thing. Right? Not Mac compatible. Why would that be true? Uh-oh. Seems weird. Does that mean it's not going to work on Linux? I feel like I've used this exact thing on Linux before, though. I don't understand why that wouldn't work. I guess I'm making assumptions. Okay, no one shows the back of this. Wait, does this really not work on Linux? Doesn't work with Linux. These do not work with Linux. I kind of don't believe you, honestly. Works very well with my Ubuntu. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I think it's going to be fun. Return it if it's not fun. So that gives us this. So that we have to cram this little friend. What are we doing here? Speaker body. Inside of all of this. And gotta tell you, so far, we are not doing well in terms of placing this. Let's switch here. Move a whole component. So we're not outrageously off, surprisingly. Just in terms of the height. This is a bit annoying. Like, I do really want that angle, but we do have to make some sacrifices if we choose to do it. Yeah, and we eat up a bunch of internal volume as well. But it's honestly not as bad as I thought it was going to be. We have to make up this height somewhere. So we need a little more height, and we need to lift that bottom piece. And we gotta think about where the battery goes. Like, I would want to put the battery just behind here, but I don't know what probably the wire just comes straight out of the back in a really annoying way, where it will be annoying. So I'm kind of having second thoughts on the battery, honestly. Because in terms of proportions, this is, we certainly have massaging to do, no question, but we're not crazy off on kind of the proportions of this thing, but I could also take this speaker apart. Is another possibility, which is sort of tempting. Ugh, sad story. Just thinking about what it would take to have this flush, and then we can, but then, and again, this still needs to move up. Or I guess it doesn't technically have to, but you know what I mean. Oh, something just occurred to me. Something possibly better. We will still have some internal volume problems, but I was just thinking, like, what if we didn't actually have this bottom shelf at all, and we just had some way that we affix everything to the upper, and that this upper was angled on top. I don't know if any of those statements made sense, but the, say we did something like this, where we still have some clearance. I think that angle is quite right. I don't remember what we made that angle. Nobody does. Sort of afraid of that. Close. What did we make that? It's maybe something silly. Something like that. Anyway, I was just thinking about something like this. Does mean we'd need a way to suspend this, which would be possibly a little annoying, but that definitely complicates things. But it lets that kind of live more directly behind the grill. It does complicate things. I don't know. Kind of like that, but it definitely complicates the construction in a way that I'm not jazzed about. This just gets silly, and we don't have a bunch of like open air in the thing, like visible behind the grill. It definitely was easier when the front was flat, but it didn't look as nice. I'm second guessing my audio's just choices, but I made them for a reason. Well, what do we want to do? What is the power bank I got? It's not this one. Some basis. I looked at this one, but the output wattage was not great. Basis. There was an outrageously inexpensive one, probably like suspiciously cheap. This one. What are your dimensions, friend? Someone gonna be kind enough to micro USB input? Disgusting.
Oh, we could fly.
Jeez, sorry. Good grief. Apologize. It's not huge, but it's not small. Fits in the palm of your hand. This says 10,000 milliamp hours. Oh yeah, it is. Okay, it's 20 watts, 10,000 milliamp hours. That checks out. What are the dimensions of this? Okay, 6 inches by 2.7. But what is the thickness? Measurements. 6 by 2.7 by 0.7. So I guess let's just make battery. Oh, that speaker takes up so much room. So I already forgot what I said. 6 by 2.7. What? I don't know what I just did. I think it was related to the moving of the speaker, but that was not a good position anyway. So we said 2.7 inches by 6 inches, and then it was extruded 0.7. And then we'll give it some fun fillets just for kicks. It's not terribly filleted, but so then we had to put this dummy somewhere. Where does it go? It's a mystery. So that's funny that you think you live up here. Okay, ignoring the angle thing because I just don't know what to do. Oops. At this moment. And then I mean, ignoring a lot of things, a lot of flaws to ignore here. And then the dumb battery, which is giant, also. Needs to be up in shelf land, and oh boy, it's big. See, I kind of like this thing. I mean, that is an idea, is to use this as the size of what the height has to be. Other option is that it sits under the battery sits on top of it, and then that internal cavity has to be even bigger. Another option is this is just huge back here. I don't know. Another option that I had not considered until this very moment, I don't really want to do this, but just to think through it for 1 second, is maybe that's not the worst idea. Is basically that there's a panel on the whole back side of this, and this would live like on the back with the Raspberry Pi, etc., etc. That is a pretty efficient use of space. But then everything else has to extend so it could be hidden. This still isn't solving some of the deep-rooted problems that still need to be solved, but like just spitballing here. Shoot, I lost my battery move. You could kind of imagine this shelf. How would we do this? So one problem we have is just interference with these, right? And so one idea is just cut that off early. Make this taller. And the battery lives somewhere. Just don't want to add a ton of complexity to this. I like the idea of just having this cavity to stick stuff in, but maybe our stuff is too big. This actually could probably come a little further forward if we wanted to. Ah, man, when I started this, I thought we had a good solution for everything, but I just had not really thought through the size of some of these things we want to cram in here. The battery on the back isn't outrageous. Oh, the speakers are so big. Like, pulling this back is not that big of a deal. It really isn't. Pulling this back is not a major problem. I mean, we do have the still have the annoying issue of the knobs, which is an issue. We haven't even really talked about, yeah, gosh, I talked about it, but didn't address it. Like the joinery for this bottom piece, the joinery for the pieces that go in here, like that stuff is still annoying. And we still haven't really talked about the idea of having other electronics on the front panel. I guess we have a slight advantage of this little trough here if we wanted to do stuff in there. I mean, you could even imagine just like a slot where those knobs go. But it's got to kind of slide in from the front or the back, one or the other. Lifting that is definitely the easier option. It's definitely annoying. But instead of having any other kind of slots or what have you, it's just a bummer that it has to lift a lot. So that would be in here. It's weird that I can't see the launch key. I can't see the things. You know, the things. I can't see them. We already said that this could extend past, didn't we? Did we actually already do that somewhere? We did. How did we do this? Did we do that in a bad place? Oh, no. We drew a plane on there and all that kind of stuff. Right. So it was actually... We didn't even use this. That is not even a thing we used. I mean, I kind of want that line just as a construction line, but... I don't know the best way to do this. I want this angle to stay the same. Can I make these, force those to be parallel? Then what happens if I try to do this? Okay, it's kind of cool. And then can I enforce a distance between those? Which is a very arbitrary distance, but just do it for now. Now if I move this, does it just move along? I mean, almost. I guess I also want to enforce this distance. Also very arbitrary. We're definitely going to want to redraw this before we fabricate it. But... oh gosh, everything... Wait, it's changing that angle? I should probably just draw a new one of these. Because I think I basically need to just... This is going to screw up a number of things, though, sadly. Oops. How bad at Fusion? Is this gonna like... Okay, that's okay. I feel like that just broke 1,000 different things. Can we just make this a number that makes sense and just say it's 10 mil? Or does that mess up everything? Messes up a lot of things. We're definitely going to want to redraw this. Okay, so this is going to break so much stuff, I think. Right, because we've got to fix this extrusion. Somehow. And also adding that. But then this is not happy. This line and this line. Okay. Definitely broke something. I think our plane is now facing the wrong way. Which is kind of funny. So, and then now we have to fix... that one, and now we have to fix that one. Okay. Did I actually move that up enough? No one ever knows. But one thing we can definitely say, what do I have? Looks like there's some intersecting geometry. Oh, I guess, yeah, gosh. Probably because I made this the exact width of the, oh, rookie mistakes. The exact width of the keyboard, so that for sure has to be addressed. That would be when I moved this over. That was too much, obviously, but it's annoying that it doesn't keep my existing, let's call it 2.5 mil. And then these extrusions then need to be 170. And that gives us a little clearance on the sides. No, that was much too much. What happened here? Let's just be 167.5. Split it. Okay. So that's... Was that still not high enough? I will cry. No, it's actually too high. I don't know what to do about that though, you know? Like, can I just... If I move this, what happens? Probably all the wrong things. Yeah, it's really annoying. Like, I want to move it kind of along this line, basically. I want to slide it along this line and not change anything else. I guess I can do it the cheater way. That was probably too much though, right? Actually, that is not. If I slide it in from the back, maybe that's okay. It's very, very close. No, it's no good because there's like little feet on here. Like, that's too much. something like this. Something like, I don't even know. Let's just call that 5 for now because I just don't even quite have a sense. So that gives us an air gap in there. And now this upper portion is obviously way too small, and the positioning of the grate is no good. We need to make that its own component, probably. Just so we can work on it in a more sane way. Anywho. So if we go that route, which, hey, it's a route, then the top needs to be so much taller. Like, basically to where if it sits on this shelf, then now the interior needs to be basically where that top portion is, plus some room, right? So this line has to go up to here basically, which is a lot. Probably should have modeled this speaker before I did all this stuff, huh? Oops. Oh well, it's learning. We're learning here. So what I could maybe do, possibly, is unlock this, set a distance here that makes sense, which we'll just also call 5. I don't know how to sort of like lock. I just lock this. Don't touch this. Or this. Because what I want to do is now move this like to there or there, something like that. I don't know what this double line on the back is, but it doesn't look good. What is that? Where did that come from? Did I just accidentally have some kind of double line? Apparently. Or was it just drawing a double line? Who can say? Okay. Well, did that... actually do anything? Nope. What is this double line? Is this the bad line? What are we doing here? I don't know what this is. What are you? That's not 90 degrees. Dang it! Hit the wrong button. Can I extend this to you? Okay, how about this? Does not quite seem right, but that is 5. I don't know where that double line came from. Who can say? Well, let's finish that and see how bad. Yikes. Oh, was it like where our fillets were? Got ruined? So that's not too surprising. We have a few problems here. One of them is the extrude is ruined. Okay, are we happy now? Almost. We do have damaged our fillets. I don't know how to reselect. Okay, I'll do this. I don't know why I can't select those. Oops. I'll just take a stand-up break. I want to do these fillets, and then I'm going to run around. It's pretty annoying. Just select them all again. Like those 6mm fillets. You know what we could do? We could take this angle to the back as well. Have a lot more internal volume in our little hidey hole. Okay, but just after doing all that, does the speaker actually fit? Because that'd be a real triumph. Snug, but possibly okay. Yeah, and the thing I was just entertaining is like the idea of extending, basically taking this line here, we missed a fillet, back here, and then we would get a lot of internal space here if we mounted stuff to the roof of the doodad, which is not perhaps the worst idea. Still probably doesn't fully solve the battery problem for us, though. Annoyingly, tragically, sadly. Okay, I'll be right back. Excuse me. Okay, so, see, that time the camera stayed. Who knows? Who knows? What we were just considering is what? We were considering extending this way the F back. Which would be kind of cool. The more I think about this, the more it would be cool to get rid of this. We could probably 3D print something that went on this panel that would basically just have the speaker like suspended here. Not be centered. I mean, maybe it technically could be. There's buttons there. There's buttons here. So maybe not quite there, but possibly something like this where this guy's just sort of floating. This would need to be kind of more structural then, probably, but definitely way more complicated than just a shelf. Like a shelf is certainly very easy. But I do kind of like that idea. Well, let's try a couple things. Somewhere this has a parallel constraint, but I don't know whose. Or is it this? What kind of constraint is this? There's a perpendicular constraint here. Definitely struggling. I want this to be like this. But people are mad at me. Let's turn these off for a minute, just while I'm trying to figure this out. So what I want maybe I don't want that. Maybe it looks really dumb, but just pretending for the moment that I do want this. And then it could be like here or something. It's gonna like tip over. It's gonna fall backwards. I kind of like this idea for the increased internal volume. Possibly. And we probably want to take that angle to the front. That angle is absurd right now, I think, right? Is it just, it's something nonsensical. '90, it's like 23 degrees going this way. Maybe it's something like that. I don't know. That's 115 degrees, and then I need to unlock all these things that we had locked. If I did this properly, we wouldn't have to do these random locks, but what if this was 115 degrees? Well, that gets, but this, okay, hang on. Do I have like 2 layers of lines or something? Oh, that's the box. I have some relationships here that are not serving me well. I don't want any of this to change. I just want, oops. I don't really understand why that's making, oh, it's because of this distance. That's my problem. Don't do that. I do have a bit of an angle here, which makes things kind of silly, because that means this isn't really 115 degrees. I would have to think about that a little. Maybe that's why it was 113. Because whatever this angle is, who knows? Could also make it go flat here if I wanted to. Just like carry that line through a little. I don't know. I sort of want to make this become flat, but that appears to have a lot of implications. Oops. Why is this line fixed? Why is this point immutable? That's what it would look like flat, which is maybe ridiculous. Oops. Why, is it because this is locked? Like something is... not letting me edit this angle. I'm not sure what it is. Bump that back slightly. Insane things are now happening to the bottom here. I don't know, I kind of preferred this line following this line. And get rid of this and just let this be parallel to that. There's problems here. I got up with those little feet. There's just so many little details. Good boy. Okay, what does this look like? How dumb is this? It's kind of cool. It's kind of cool. There's lots of like details that make it more difficult now than it was previously, but the proportions are not bad. Okay, let's finish that interior jaunt. Problem is, the more complicated I make this, the less, like, it's going to be harder and harder to make myself really build it, you know? Like, all these details, especially all these little angles, things like that, that just make the fabrication harder, is going to draw out that process, and it's just going to make it that much more likely that I never finish this, which is not what I want. I want to finish this. And already, it's so much more complicated already than it was in the stream last night. It was a pretty easy object, but it obviously had invalid
elements, but so what do we do?
I'm just making it more and more and more and more and more and more complicated is my concern here. So that clears that. We decided the speaker was big enough. We could pull these to the back now. Not actually enough as much clearance in the back as I think would be good. To decide if I really care about like flattening these or like matching the angle on the back, it just gets annoying. Versus just leaving those as flat flat boards. But that gives us a fair amount of internal volume. Does make me worry a little bit about it just falling over backwards. But it won't. Because if you think about whatever this object is, wherever its center of gravity is, I think these little dudes will counter it. I don't know if what I just said makes sense, but I think it maybe perhaps possibly makes sense. So the grill is definitely bothering me, but I have a really easy way to address that. I'm not sure that I do. Can't remember how I placed this, like what this is placed relative to. It seems to have some opinion about, like, somehow has an opinion about where it exists. I don't know quite where that opinion comes from. I guess it doesn't actually have that opinion. So if I just give this a little nudge upstairs, I don't quite know where the lines are. I mean, that's technically fine because the holes are above, but well, that's exciting. How did this happen? What? How did you decide not to grab those? Hello? What? What happened to what happened to these? Did I screw something up in moving those? Guess I did. Still screwed up. For reasons I don't understand. Okay, unlock everything. Oh boy. That looks like every single thing is selected. I'm just gonna go out here and see if it's working right now. appears to be okay right now. And then go back in. Grab these. I don't know what this line is. Some reference line that I pulled from somewhere. Oh, I must have had some external rectangle reference. Why can't you move? Do I have some distance from that line or something? That is relative to those dudes. Oh, that's not what I wanted. That just breaks the... Come on, buddy. I wish I had a better strategy for these vents. What are these points? I don't know what those points are. The top line seems locked somehow. And I don't know by what it means. There's some measurement that I'm just missing. Oh, I tried to add this measurement. It was bad. Yeah, it just breaks everything. Why can't I just move this? It's pretty annoying. Come in here. Get all the stuff. What am I feel like I'm in some insane mode now that I'm in the sketch. Grab all this business. Somehow that top line thinks it knows about stuff, but who knows? Did I have some way that I centered that? I just don't know. Everything seems to be selected. Why, when I move this, does it now break my extrusions? Anybody? They have thoughts on this? Why? This looks fine. Except it doesn't actually. You know, like this appears to be a fully closed object, and for some reason this doesn't. Like when I move it, somehow a little gap is introduced or something. It's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool thing to happen, which sounds like definitely like a thing Illustrator would do. It's like extremely something Illustrator would do. Is it true? Are there dumb other little pieces over there? Probably. Little extra points or something. I mean, I don't know why there are extra points actually, but there are. Can we, great, that looks great. You did a great job. Incredible work. Why? I mean, these have extra points too, so I feel like it's maybe not the path, but can we just try now to create a sketch on this plane? Maybe we just need to redo this plane. Things have changed. So if we want to insert, no, we want to construct a plane through two edges, and we'll do the upper portion of this and the bottom portion of this. So now we get this cool plane. It's a very cool plane. And then we decide to draw a sketch on this new very cool plane that we just drew. Where's our cool plane that we just drew? We're going to sketch here. And we're gonna draw a rectangle. Something like this, I think is what we did before. Right? And that is how we created our little 3mm doodad. Something like this. And then we wanted to try to insert our DXF on this surface. Like, this process is not good. Awesome. Why does that surface rotate? Does anybody know? Why? How did we address this previously? Should we not have made a sketch there? Should we have just done it on the plane or something? Would that be better? Seems not different. Ah, boy. Why? Why must you be so stupid? Let's try a new strategy. Because this strategy is annoying. And it's not going to serve us well in the future anyway. How do you do the delete after marker? Why is it not working? Okay, let's just make a new component that is the front panel. New component that is the front panel. Front panel. And let's just what did you just draw that on? That is not where I wanted you. I specifically didn't want this in here. Did I not select the... I'm going to create a component, and I want the parent of the component to be you. You. Dummy. Okay. Create a new component. Parent, you. And then now, create a sketch on this surface. I have no idea what this number is, but we'll figure it out. Okay, so once we do this, we should be able to go back into Enclosure land and affix it, which I'm not very good at. I have too many of these. Gosh, remember how easy it was when it was just a box? Should we go back to that?
Oh.
Let's just look at that for 1 second. Look at that. Looked pretty dumb, but man, it was easy. It was really easy. I don't know. This definitely looks cooler. So we want to assemble I'm very bad at this. We want to connect this point. But actually, no. We want it like this face. Can we do that? Okay, almost. Just A for effort. It's more like we want between two faces, two edge intersection. But I think it's kind of like, oops, we want, dang it, joint. Definitely don't really know what I'm doing with assemblies, but I feel like we want the center point of this line. I see you. You. And we want the center point of this line. And it's almost going to work, but then we're going to have like a rotation problem. So the simple version would be like here, which almost, we just put 115 degrees here. That is about right. We just made our thing too tall. And it's apparently not 115, it's at 113. Okay, let's do that for the minute. For the minute? For the moment. That is roughly correct. It's just too big. But now we can just work on the front panel like sane people. And just make this whatever number makes more sense, 70. Which is now much too little. It's very good trial and error. How is this? Okay, That is very close, probably too close. But I'll go with it for just this minute. And then we can try to just put the DXF on this sketch, and maybe that will make things a little easier. I don't know. Insert mode. One sketch per layer. Single sketch. Okay, where are you trying to put this? What insanely dumb place. Why is it up there? Why? Impossible to say. This is like 330 divided by 2. Negative 330 divided by 2, something like that. That does not look correct. Is it not 330 divided by 2? 360 or something? Don't do this to me. This just feels so clunky. It's so clunky. I don't really understand why it's so lame. It doesn't seem like it should be this obnoxious. Like, I mean, I sort of get why you're up here a little bit, but not totally. I don't totally get it. Maybe we made that 340. That right? Who knows? Realizing I probably want to reconsider this anyway. And just probably want to include the border in this instead of drawing it separately. That makes sense. I don't know what this line is. What are we... Is this the whole artboard? Then what is this line? Is that screwing things up? What is that? Are we drawing something we shouldn't be? What is this? Is that the artboard? Did we end up with 2 artboards or something? We did. That's... That makes a little bit of sense. So then... Oh. Why are you like this? Oh my gosh. Illustrator, you're so stupid. It's so impressive how bad you are. What a snap to point. Why did the stroke size just change? We only want to snap 2 point, nothing else. Snap only 2 point. Thanks. I don't want a pixel preview. That was my fault. And then path, offset path. Get out of here. And then that doesn't really look right, does it? Something's wrong. Something's fishy. Not too close now. It's hard to say. Anyway. I'm sure this is going to make me mad when I try to do this, but let's just try it. Let's just try it. Let's be mad together. What I would want with this is almost like a reference, like where it's just some reference to a thing that exists elsewhere that's really easy to move around, as though it were, you know, so you just sort of like scale it, move it around, all that stuff, but it's not what we have. Like, and also be able to position it relative to something would be real cool instead of this. Why are you like this? The positioning just sucks. It just is so, there's no, like, it's stupid that it changes the, if I move this and then try to change something, it resets it. Like it resets the move. And then like now I'm, I don't know if what I'm saying makes sense here. I am relative to nothing. It's very obnoxious. So that is hopefully, well, this is not as important. So we extruded that. Now we need to do the holes, which is it not going to do properly for some extremely fun, cool reason? Why? 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 It's acting like those are not closed paths, even though they really look like closed paths to me personally. Oh, also, did it not put the sketch where I really wanted it? Hang on. Bafflingly, two of these are end up as fully enclosed and the others don't. Why? Why, everybody? Why is everything so stupid? There's some fun setting here that's like close everything, you dummy. Should I not be using DXF? I feel like I've had even worse luck with SVG in terms of scaling. These are connected. There's too many anchor points, which is obnoxious. Is that a problem? Is it actually... Okay, it looks like there were duplicate points. Maybe that will help. Illustrator just made garbage paths, surprising no one. I never should have opened Illustrator. Never should have done it. Just don't really have the full sense of the best way to do stuff like this in Fusion. It feels like Fusion just needs a tool that is like the grid tool or whatever. I would like, I think, just to make another sketch. Do I want to do it on that surface? I don't know. Kind of want to, but I may regret this. Wait, where is that now? Okay, 90s where we were happy. I don't know, that weird artifact we just had was very peculiar. I don't know how to do this and have it. Okay, we do this. Make a sketch on this face, on you, and insert DXF on you. Still positioned in some bafflingly dumb way. Appears to be upside down. Who knows why? Who knows why? It's just not very good. You know what I think I realized I did not, that I forgot to post on the Discord that I was streaming? Oops. Oops. No, I did. Okay, never mind. It's okay. It's all okay. Try to place this. Put it in some place that makes no sense to anybody, whatever. And you're upside down and backwards. Cool. You know, I guess another idea is to not do that and try to insert directly on here. I don't know if that's better or worse. I really don't. I hate this. No. Okay. Then just do whatever. Something like this for the moment. And please let me select you. Okay, and now we want to extrude these backwards. And that's exciting. And then now we want to extrude this upwards. And that's exciting. Hope we actually place the component there and not the just a body? Like when we created that joint, was that created with... Okay, seemingly that's all good. I don't know what any of this stuff is. We just delete everything after this point. Is there not a way to do that? I thought there was a thing that was like delete everything after. Yeah, delete all features after history. Okay, that is arguably better. Why can't I? There you are. So, what? I feel like we've done a lot of work and not actually gotten much closer to what we need to be doing. Just a sad story. Because I don't think this actually helped with our problem of the battery, right? Like the battery is still... Oh, oops. I think some of the things I deleted were the battery and the shucks. Okay. Oh no, does that mean I did the that was the battery. That was the speaker. Where I did the... I think I did the knobs in the wrong place, annoyingly. But it's not that important. Okay. Do appearance again. Every time I use Fusion, I learn more about how bad I am at Fusion. We have 2 panels, so this needs to go. So this needs to go. So this needs to go. And then maybe we're back in business. Thusly. So we did, I'm not going to say solved, we addressed the knobs. Possibly. There are still little nubbin feet on here that are adding at least a couple millimeters that are not accounted for, but just one thing at a time. The speaker and the battery are giant monstrosities. Which I don't exactly know what to do with. Making the battery tall enough, sorry, making the enclosure big enough for the battery to sit in there is concerning. Oops. So that would, you know, there's a world where this just fits in here right now. There's also a world just imagining something silly. Oh, battery, you're so big. You're very large. This extra space just that we got from that, the diagonal going backwards, just doesn't actually help us that much. I thought I had a good, easy plan for this, and now everything's hitting hard. It's disappointing. The thing I was just imagining is a diagonal here, just sort of like, but really reduces the that internal volume. But it could go up more, and then that lets this essentially be a box again, which I like the idea of that a lot. But that is kind of interesting. The package has been delivered. Oh, maybe I just got this speaker. Excuse me, I'll be right back. I did. Oops. I did get the speaker. How about that? If I have any questions, I have to email hunter8756@qq.com. So keep that in mind. It is pretty small. I mean, all things considered. Fairly small speaker. What does it take to get a speaker working on Raspberry Pi? It's a lifetime warranty. I just had to email my buddy QQ. The thing I was just imagining is that, and this could actually really simplify things pretty dramatically. I mean, just seeing, it's a little guy. It really is not very big. So, right, all my lamentation about the more complex angles and so on and so on and so on could be avoided if we built this as a box, like there's an internal box. We definitely sacrifice some things because of the dumb I kind of feel like I just need to redraw this and think about it in a different way, but basically we'd make this a right angle is the gist of it, and then there'd be a box in here that was truly just a box. It's just a box, and then what? There'd be a box in there that was just a box. And so there's no angles we have to worry about. It lets us put the speaker in a way that makes a lot of sense. Gosh, should we just redraw this again? Kinda tempted to. Bummed out about the knobbies doing that wrong. Like, all of this stuff that I've done here, I think is not supposed to be... No, that says it's in the launch key. That's in Enclosure 2. That is in Elements. That is in Front Panel. No, where did I do that? Where did we make our fatal mistake? Here. These... Maybe that's just how this really works. I don't know. Oh no, I didn't get my stand. Okay, sorry. Excuse me. I'll be right back. Okay, I think I've run it through in my mind, what I'm thinking of here. And I think I like it. Just the idea that there's a box that's just at an angle. This is at an angle. The question is kind of how big that box is, but I think it doesn't have to be that big, honestly. It's just a question of the USB battery, which I think is about the size of my phone. What did I do with the speaker that I just had in my hand? I had a speaker in my hand. I put it right here. Okay. This speaker, just thinking about what to do with the USB battery if the battery is like that much taller. It's not that big of a box. I think I can maybe live with it. Or it's big enough. I mean, that gets very big though. Like, in terms of what the battery's doing, that becomes a large thing going on. Another option is that we kind of cheat and the battery just sort of sits in the back of this, against the back of this. because we need a little clearance in the back anyway for the USB cable. We know that. We know that to be true. So it definitely could be built such that. Okay, I feel like we're we're getting somewhere. I just don't know where it is. I don't know where we are, but we're getting somewhere. In terms of this, reasonably living here. Does not have to be that big. Depending on that angle, just to be sure that it can clear, because we still have to clear the doodads, which is annoying. No, those things. Unless we don't care about clearing the doodads. Yeah, gosh, it's close. There's just, I would like to minimize extra space if it is possible. But the thing I'm just proposing right now does require a lot of extra space. So maybe it's not a good idea. Shoot. Why is everything hard? What I'm saying is, if I have this, and make this all a box such that this is just angled backwards like this, basically, I like that idea. It's just to not interfere with the keyboard. Where does it live? Like, all of this, unfortunately, is making me lean back to the other drawing. Which I just did not like as much, frankly. This one. There's problems with it, certainly, but it definitely is easier in a lot of ways. It's just so much simpler to have a front face there. You could still have the body come out backwards, I guess, if you really wanted to, but oh man, but it looks so much cooler. I guess, what is it? I don't see any fasteners on the speaker, so it's presumably all glued together. So disassembling the speaker is maybe not gonna happen. What do I want to do? The whole point of picking this approach was to not get stuck. It's kind of a bummer. I mean, I chose this approach thinking like, okay, I can't decide what to do for just a standalone enclosure, so we're just going to build this hat for this. And it seemed like we were doing well, but now I have all these annoying considerations. I mean, I guess it's worth stating that it is not a requirement that the front of this is flush with the front of the box. That means I need to hide kind of what's going on inside, but it's not a requirement. And then it is not a requirement that it is battery powered. Just thinking. Don't know if I like this, but just thinking about convenient places to hide big flat things. Maybe maybe it's not wise to try to hide big flat things back here. Maybe the good place to hide big flat things is on this big flat surface that is the bottom of this. Battery pack and Raspberry Pi on the bottom. Alternatively, battery pack and Raspberry Pi like on the back, but then it needs to go even further back to allow for that. We need to bring it back enough that there was sort of room back here to do that. Also, I guess another thing that's worth saying for sure, right? This does not have to be a full-size Pi. Could definitely be, I just got some. Pi 2 0W, which is annoying in terms of I/O for sure. But it could be teeny tiny. That is worth considering. And then I don't really have to worry about the electronics. And that really is just about the battery. And I could just decide that I'm not doing that. I could just decide that I'm not going to do that. Or again, that the battery like lives on the back somehow. Like if this went diagonal and then this was flat and the battery was just back here or something, is not a terrible idea. Yeah, battery just like sits back here, right behind the keyboard. Or the battery's just not part of it, because it's really not that important. Ugh, my indecisiveness ruins me. I need this to just be done. I do actually kind of like the suspended box. It just means that the speaker's going to be up pretty high. Which leaves so much wasted space down there. We don't have a ton of lateral space. The idea of the battery and the Pi being on the back. What do we think about that? So we need like a flat region here. basically we'd be saying like this, and the battery's on one side and the pie's on the other, or whatever. Which maybe if we do this diagonal here, then we don't really need a bottom shelf. And then this can be flat. It makes that joinery a little annoying, but not outrageously so. Like, if this goes flat, you kind of want this to stay a 90-degree angle. It doesn't have to. This could go flat like this, and then this angle could be obtuse. And then there's stuff, and there's room in the back for stuff. Just get rid of the bottom. That could be fine, actually. If we didn't have the bottom, speaker was affixed to the top. And it really could kind of, can't go as far down as we have it now, but you probably could keep the height that we have here at least. And then there'd be a line that went down here, and then this would go flat, and then back there would be where the this would go flat. So what would it take to do that? Can I have to like edit this in a way that would make sense to try to do that? Basically what we're saying is this would come out somewhere. To some amount of room to have room in the back there. And then we would actually get rid of, oops. I don't know how much that needs to be, but say it's something like that. We would no longer say that this was parallel to the front. And we would say that down here that this is 90 degrees. Oops. Great. I don't know if it's going to let me do this. It did. Okay. And then that this needs to drop down now to something to make the angle that we've created appropriate. So this is not perpendicular. This needs to move in here somewhere. And then we're not going to say that any of this stuff is straight. So what we want to say is, I guess it, oops, these are parallel to this. And that this is parallel to its little buddy. It's impossible to click on. Oh. This is awesome. I mean, whatever. Doesn't matter that much. Oops. That's not what we wanted to do. We apparently have some more constraints to get rid of. This wants to be parallel to this. But now How do we do this? The if I set, I'm sorry, parallel. But now if I make these perpendicular, that almost is what I wanted. Almost. I wanted this point to be fixed, but or like this face, I guess. What is the counter angle of that then? Like, I don't know if that is a meaningful statement, but like, what angle does this need to be then? Like 75 or something? Shoot. Something like that. And then, I know this is all a mess, but shoot. Something like that. And then now this and this want to be perpendicular. Oh, why those ended up so close to the top, but and then I like, can we just not have this other one anymore? Just not need this anymore? So there's lots of measurements here that make no sense, but just ignoring this for the moment. So something like this would be a proposal. We'd probably want to flatten this piece out, but so this is probably going to wreak havoc on our everything. Actually, wasn't too bad, shockingly. So it'd be something like this. And the speaker would live in its little speaker hole. It might even be affixed to that piece, but it would just live in a little nook like that. The grill would move up to you know, move up an appropriate amount. That ends up with we end up with a sort of an awkward negative space. Along the front here, which is a little annoying. Although it's not hard to imagine adding like future elements. That may still not be enough. That's closer. Come up with some angles that actually make sense one of these days. Anyway, something like this is not too far off at all, actually. That almost works in terms of the placement of that by some strange twist of fate. So we just end up with this big goofball negative space, basically, is the downside here. We also have giant negative spaces on the side. This is also just clearly not big enough, right? Like, in terms of the speaker placement, or this speaker grill needs to be much larger to actually cover the area. So we'd probably want some kind of element along the bottom. Maybe there's just a strip of the same yellow along the bottom or something like that. This gets wider. And then what? I mean, it's definitely just much less elegant than it was previously, sadly, but could probably, like, part of that is just sort of an optical proportions thing at a certain point, right? So probably you could what are we doing here? Just do something like this. It's very big. What? Look. When extruding this part, add this as well. Uh-oh, do we lose our... And just make that a color. It's not the worst. This is wider. There's some little like design detail or something there. Okay, so that, I mean, God, we're definitely making things still hard for ourselves, right? We've got to fix the speaker to the upper inner portion of this somehow. Somehow. Are these adhesive? That would be really funny. They're not. It's just a little cover. Which, you know, I could think of ways, but then we're probably like designing brackets or something, which is definitely harder than just a frickin' shelf. And then we still have not really solved the battery problem, right? There's a problem that remains unsolved. What actually, okay, speaking of the shelf, actually. No, we don't want it because we potentially want access to down here. What is your problem? Just pick this and move it. Thanks. Question then is, how do we fix this? And like, is it attached to the front somehow, or is it attached to the upper, which probably makes the most sense? It's like attached to this in some way, which is like not the hardest thing, but it's also just another thing. Just like 3D printed brackets, something. VHB. Maybe it's just VHB. We still have not really addressed the battery. The shape is kind of cool though, right? Cute little guy, cute little friend. I don't know why that width is wrong, but oh yeah, because we added some breathing room. Okay, decision time. Decision time. Do we still have things to address with like, oh God, I already forgot about that. The actual joinery. We have to figure that out. This actually makes that very easy, I think. Or relatively easy. We just have like some kind of little interior feature that this stuff sits on, so that's not too bad. But the battery, and possibly the Raspberry Pi. I mean, there's definitely Raspberry Pi. It's just which one? How big is it? What are we doing? Raspberry Pi is almost the size of the speaker, actually. Kind of interesting. Oh my gosh, am I reconsidering this whole thing? I can feel it happening. I can feel my brain reconsidering this entire approach. I can feel it. I can feel it. I can feel it. I can feel it happening. Oh my gosh. Kind of keeping the thing we have here and just getting rid of the keyboard. What's wrong with me? Why am I like this? You know what I mean? Like basically just this thing, but don't include the keyboard, make it smaller. We just build it in such a way that there's room for the battery, there's room for everybody. Shoot. Why am I so indecisive? Why am I like this? Why am I like this? Shucks. Okay, well, there's some things I'm generally pleased with. Why are there lyrics? Like the original notion of including the keyboard was because I was so indecisive about an enclosure that didn't include the keyboard. But now the keyboard is proving annoying. Well, that's another thought, actually. Okay, let's just make things more complicated. Oh my gosh. Okay, doesn't Elisis or somebody have a really cute little buddy? I was just imagining, what if we had a keyboard that did not have all the other crap on it? And how much easier that would make this. Sorry, Arturia, that's who I was thinking of, who was the beautiful. But if I didn't have sort of the upper portion of this, which is part of the battle here, that is definitely making this obnoxious. If I didn't have to worry about that, oh, those Arturia keyboards are beautiful. But I kind of don't want the full pad, I guess. Like, it was truly just... That's not what I want. If it was basically just the keys. I don't even want the stuff on the side. Like these very tiny, cute little Akai's. But I truly want keys only. Oof. Look, I used to have one of those. Like one of the early little Korg portable keyboards. Maybe it did have something else on it. I want to make a keyboard that is only keys. Somebody from 10 years ago wants this. Oh, this little iRig keyboard. That still exist? Does the iRig exist as a brand? Sounds so ancient to have I in the name of your product. Okay, I just... Look at that thing. Windows XP. Look at this iRig Mini. Probably from 10 years ago. But doesn't that sound kind of nice? The other thought here that is important to remember is that if I don't incorporate a keyboard, then I can plug it into my actual digital piano. I'm so indecisive. What's wrong with me? But let's just say, theoretically, that I was going to build something that was just a box that was basically a box. It would just be a box. And then, but the sides of the box would be this kind of shape so that it would sit at an angle like this. That's essentially a proposal. It would not be as fully self-contained then, but then it is more flexible. Does it have a battery pack then? I guess it doesn't matter to me that much whether or not it has a battery pack. Okay, it does make me want to do what? Let's do... It's a whole other consideration here about the software side of this stuff, but this sucks. I don't know what changed. Like SSH suddenly. How did I end up in PowerShell? Also, second question: why am I in PowerShell? Probably gonna regret this. Okay. Why isn't SSH working? I don't know the answer. What maybe this is the answer. Oh my gosh, you're killing me. Like why is SSH not Has no one talked to me on this entire stream? It's been a while since that happened. I'm just gonna unplug this because I just don't care that much. Sorry. I just apologize for that Raspberry Pi. What we do want is this. Come here. This Raspberry Pi with this USB speaker. I want it to work. If I remember being modestly annoying, because everything's annoying because it's Linux. Let's go back over here. Okay, now I'm back to leaning to not doing the keyboard hat, which is ridiculous, but I don't know what's wrong with me. Figaro, is that what I named this fellow? Problem is I did not set up Figaro for SSH, annoyingly, and there's like how do you disable? Now there's a way to do this. Yeah, the public key authentication thing. Maybe I can just do this in my host. Figaro.local. I don't know if this is really gonna work. My SSH config. Figaro.local. Password authentication. No, I need something else. There's like a public key authentication. No. Not gonna work. Should have just set this up properly for SSH and then. Okay. What am I doing? Where am I? Here I am. So I'm gonna pause on that and think about what I've done. Raspberry Pi, USB audio, ALSA. I just don't remember how to do this, but I think there's a. Can we do this? Got proc sound cards. Great. Awesome. So we have a Gembird USB speaker. So I feel like there was a trick actually where all you have to do is you just disable the headphone device and then you were good. Nothing? Of course not. There's a blacklist, but is there not a... Why is the also configuration file? What? Why is everything so obnoxious? So there already is a asound.com. Right? Where is that? Why is everything so obnoxious? So obnoxious. So you can set this in your own asound RC? But I don't think I want to do that. That seems not... So, are you telling me I can change these? I don't really believe it. I seem to remember doing the blacklist before, and then it doesn't matter. Disable allow the USB device to be the default. Why is it this obnoxious? Why is it this obnoxious? BCM headphones. How do you know the... So we have the sound BCM. We have the sound USB audio. Okay, I'm gonna trust this one. Probably shouldn't. And then we'll just forget this ever happened. Wait. Not that one. Sorry, this one. That didn't seem right. Why is there a line break there? That is sort of... Didn't we see that somewhere? What is the actual file name? Computers are the worst. Okay, we back. Just be back here. I'm gonna try this. Also-base.com. Oops. Do I believe it's going to work? Not really. It's not going to work. Okay, I like in the back of my brain, I'm just thinking about this object and thinking about this object not needing to accommodate the keyboard and then being an object that exists as its own object. And I'm kind of getting there, gotta say. Whether or not it is battery powered is a little bit interesting, but only a little bit. I guess we get into a little bit of a question of how I want to expose the port, because basically it needs power and it needs MIDI. So it needed like a USB-A port, and it would need a USB-C port for power, or I don't do that. Because it's annoying. And I just have like a hole And I put the cables in the hole. Or the back isn't even closed. That's the other possibility. It's the back. I'm like a little boxy box. Then we close the back. I don't even know what to do anymore. Just a boxy box that is inside a little footprint that has the hardware inside it. And that's all we need. Is that all we need? And then the front panel is just a little speaker. Tempting. Okay, anyway. It seemed like it worked, actually. I'm shocked.
Front, left, front, right, front, left, front, right, front, left, front, right, front, left, front.
Like the volume buttons don't do anything, but I don't really care.
Front, left, front, right, front, left, front, right, front.
Okay. Is the Docker stuff running? Homebridge is, but my Figaro, or sorry, my Fluid Synth stuff isn't. Wait, I didn't really want to connect to it. Can I do? Well, I just need to add a restart. But anyway, so if we do detached here, is heat working? Seems to be. Need to add an alert just in case. Just in case. So I'm shocked that no one has stopped by. I'm a little bit outraged. My feelings are hurt. So if we do this, and now we... Wait a minute. Tomatoes. Who was that? Interesting. Okay. See, nobody wants to watch me do anything but Sudoku. I get it. Now it's time to stand up again. I just want to test one more thing. We want a cat. No. We want to echo node on channel 1, note 60, 127, and we want to send that to dev tcp. Proc tcp. All these tomatoes. How do we do this? I already forgot. Procnets TCP. TCP local. To what? How do we do that? Why can I not remember this? Cat to proc TCP. Is it then just the port? I did this like 2 days ago and I just cannot remember anything. What? How did I do this? 9800. Okay, how do you actually do this? I just can't remember. I'm setting a node on. Is it not procnet TCP? Was it just dev TCP? Good grief. Dev TCP. No. How do you do this? What is my problem? Oh, dev TCP localhost. Also, maybe I have to be root. Also, have to probably spell localhost properly. Okay. Do I have to be root to do that? I don't. I don't know what all the channels are. I'm realizing, a flaw, perhaps, in my thinking, is that if I want this to play music, I need to send the MIDI both. Did I have a solution for that? Now I can't remember if I had a solution for that. I need the MIDI to go both to Fluid Synth and to my server. How do I have to do anything to do that? Probably. That doesn't seem like a thing that would just magically happen, but maybe it's magic. You know? Like, how do you do this? Oops. So if we go here, we do LSUSB. Do I see my keyboard now? Yes, I do. Okay, I have to step away for a moment. Be right back. Oh my God, I just got such bad news. This is truly devastating news. Man, why did this not do anything? So I plugged this in, has power. We do have audio. So what do I need to do? To connect US flute synth to USB MIDI, like how do I do this? Oh, do I need like a MIDI cat? So maybe I do actually have to do the thing, which is I'm sort of okay with that, because then I just need to like have a MIDI out device. But maybe that doesn't exist on Ubuntu. What package is this? Sundio tools. Ben, oh my gosh, how's it going? Ben, I just got an email. So, okay. Obviously, going to NYU is not the best idea I've ever had. And it was enormously expensive, and it took me a long time to pay off my insane student loans. But the one thing I could tell myself was that it was worth it to go to NYU because I got unlimited Google Drive storage for life, which is basically worth trillions of dollars. So by the end of my life, like over the course of my life, I would save so much money on storage that it would pay for it would have been worth it for my incredibly overly expensive degree. Tragically, they're taking that away. And so by the middle of next year, I thought it was for life. I thought it was like a special endowment for NYU students. But apparently they've done a review and they found that basically everybody, except for me, fits in that storage range, which is actually fine because I know it's outrageous. I have a Synology NAS and I put all my stuff there and it's fine. It's true. Rascals also, ne'er-do-wells, other words, saboteurs, I would say. Anyway, why didn't this work? Gosh, search Sundio. I don't know what Soundio is. Maybe is that a thing I want? Yeah, it's from small audio MIDI framework from. No, let's see. There's a way to do this with ALSA. Rakes. Okay. Oh, I don't know. Is Rakes bad? Isn't that like roguish? Don't people like rakes? Like you have a rakish tilt to your cap? How do you do this? Oh, wait. Why do we see this and not see the other thing? You know, the other thing? In here. Anyway, so yeah, there's fluid synth. So how do I connect these? So I don't know what to do about it. I certainly don't. So basically, the thing is, all I really use Drive for is an offsite backup of my NAS. And that's a costly endeavor, potentially. I could do it on like Cloudflare C2 or Backblaze B2. Certainly not Amazon S3. R2. No, Cloudflare is R2. It's very confusing. No, Synology is... I can't keep track of this. Anyway, Synology has it. Backblaze has it. Cloudflare has it. I just don't want to pay for terabytes upon terabytes. It gets costly. It gets real costly real fast. Especially if you have incremental backups. I wonder what the size of my current backup is. Let's see. The thing I am doing is wavering. So I think I'm going to unkeyboard this. I'm leaning towards that. I'm thinking about something else right now while I decide that in the background. Of a background task trying to decide if I'm going to not do the keyboard part of that. So the foreground task is shifting back to like the little MIDI service that will run inside of this. And I just can't remember how to connect two ports directly in with ALSA MIDI. How big is this task? It's actually smaller than I thought it was going to be. It's 2.41 terabytes. And I think a terabyte from Backblaze is about $5 or $6 a month. You know where I should back it up is Apple, because I pay them too much for storage. The other option here is a thing there's two ways to think of this. Either I'm going to pay for some expensive cloud storage, which is a maybe. Or I'm going to buy another NAS and put it at somebody else's house and just back up to them. Which I thought about doing. I've been like kind of considering trying to convince my brother or dad to get a NAS just so I could put some drives in it. Also, actually, the great news is I kind of want a bigger NAS anyway. And so then my little 2-bay one could become the remote one. So maybe. But probably what I will start with is just somebody in the neighborhood. How do you connect two things with Elsa MIDI? Especially since AMIDI can't seem to see. Can you like, how do you connect? I still don't know how to do that, the routing. A connect, is that the thing? So we need to connect this to this. Is that what we do? Hey, this person has a launch key mini. Look at that. This person wants to. Wait, that's not what we want to do. Show inputs, show outputs, and list them. So if we said like show the inputs, let's do these separately. No, I said separately. Let's do these. Those are the inputs. These are the outputs. Nope. I keep confusing myself. These are the outputs. These are the inputs. We want to. Well, why is that true? Why would the when I list outputs, it shows this input port? Maybe that's a place you can output to. Anyway, we want to connect. We want to connect sender to receiver. Sender being 32.0 to receiver who's 128.0. Doesn't sound right. It worked. Okay. So the thing is, though, if I do this, can I still get MIDI? MIDI is, I think, really cool and awesome, and I think it's actually not too hard to route stuff all over the place. I might need some kind of virtual device to do it, though. So can I also dump 32.0 while I do this? MIDI, you're so good. How come there hasn't been a protocol as good as MIDI since MIDI was created? In my birth year, I think. Is that true? When was the MIDI? This doesn't seem right. Oh, no, MIDI predates General MIDI. It was standardized in 1983, but I think it happened earlier. There's a show in 1981. For some reason, my brain tells me that there was something related to MIDI in 1980. Maybe that's just when the work was done, or like some of the initial work. MIDI history, chapter 6. MIDI is born 1980 to 1983. MIDI, you're so good. Even the things about you that are insane are pretty good. Like the whole 7-bit thing. a little bit weird. But 8 bits is just excessive anyway. Oh wait, this says MIDI begins 1981 to 1983, whereas this title, is this revisionist history? Or is this citation just wrong? I don't know. Look at those guys. They don't know what they're doing. That's Bob Moog right there. So that's the idea. Okay, maybe I'm older than MIDI then. Korg Laboratory. That's 81. Laboratory? Laboratory. December. I'm going to continue to tell myself that there was something going on in 1980. Okay, anyway. Okay, we have a very tiny keyboard. So the homebridge matching stuff is probably not working at all. So we should be able to go to Figaro local and then whatever the homebridge port is. And it's probably just crashing all over the place. Over and over and over again. Because we didn't put in the configuration. Right. Right. But I foresaw this, and I... That's not right. This is like homebridge... melody. It really was. It really was. MIDI was so good. Why do we need anything else? 7 bits is plenty to send any piece of information you want. More than enough. So the thing that I did here, which now I probably regret, but whatever, is that I put all of the logic for this thing inside a homebridge module. Which mostly works fine, actually. Maybe I have a different idea. Anyway, but as soon as I want to add more like complex features, more sophisticated features, it gets annoying. Do we need to add a platform? Is that what we need here? Like if I want to have custom hardware and stuff like that, it gets annoying. But what I was just thinking, yeah, this is not ideal. Error loading plugin, cannot find module. Why is that true? We had the platforms. We added the melody platform. I don't remember if that's right. Okay, sorry. I keep distracting my own self. The thing I was thinking of is what is wrong here? It seems like it didn't install correctly. Is simplifying this so that the Homebridge melody is really just a MIDI. Oh, this is drums. Okay, let's try to be articulate. That I pull the logic for this out of Homebridge melody. It becomes its own tool, and then it just communicates with Homebridge melody via MIDI, right? Which is probably what I want, really. And now that I say that, probably a thing that exists. But that seems like more like what I want is a thing that says like, hey, when I get a MIDI message here. So what that would mean is that it would expose kind of like a MIDI input instead of whatever I'm doing now. It'd be cool if this didn't crash constantly. Cannot find module. Seems like it's not properly setting itself up or whatever. But I also didn't really know what I was doing when I did this, where I like added a URL that went there. But that would let us really simplify the Homebridge side of things, right? Like the Homebridge side of things could be very easy. Then the Homebridge side of things is just MIDI. In fact, I think I don't think their thing does what I want though. It's 8 years old. Yeah, I think I want my own. But so and then that lets me have my own little dude that could also do stuff like control other hardware or whatever. I think I like that idea. It means rewriting all this software, but that's okay, probably. I don't really know why this doesn't work. Like why it's not doing the TypeScript. Maybe you can't do this. Maybe you actually already have to have a build. Homebridge source server TS. Node modules, Homebridge, Melody, dist. Yeah, so presumably I am supposed to push the which is kind of funny, but maybe that's just what you're supposed to do. Like if I have a like an example TypeScript one, or like Homebridge Casa. Just want to see another repo and see if it's just that I have to have that dist, which would be kind of obnoxious. I don't really want to do that, but where was the plugin? This one? I just want to know. This is all written in TypeScript, so why does this one work? How come that works? Probably a thing I'm supposed to do that I'm not doing. So platform plugin template is this. So maybe I should use this. Maybe I did use this, who knows? So I think we'd have to like rewrite this, but I think that's okay. I think I prefer that. So like Homebridge Melody just becomes a MIDI thing. I know one exists, but it's old and it doesn't seem to do exactly what I want it to do. Then we change then we change things such that we just have like our own little server, and all it does is listen for keyboard sequences. It's kind of nice to have that in Homebridge, because then somebody else could use it, but maybe I don't want anybody else to use it. I don't know. But we'd put that in its own. Yeah, okay. Here's my plan for the future, and then I'm gonna stop stream. I think we're gonna do this without the keyword in it. We're gonna basically take this design and shrink it. And I think that is gonna be better. And we'll shrink it just to to dimensions that make sense for what we want to be in there, which is definitely a Raspberry Pi and definitely a another thing, in this little speaker. So there's a Raspberry Pi in there, and there's a speaker in there, and then there is also battery is a maybe. The battery doesn't actually seem that important. If this is not going to be a self-contained little thing, I don't think we need a battery in it. But if we don't put the battery in this, then it's not a problem anymore, and we could just build this. So I'm incapable of making decisions, is what we're really finding here. I don't think we do the keyboard. I think we don't do the battery. I think we do just the speaker and a little box. I think that's what it is. I think these little legs get shorter. Still kind of keep some of those little details. And then this thing is just a box. Well, maybe we can't make the legs shorter. Actually, it depends on where the box goes. Because if the box follows this line, well, it can be up a little. Anyway, we'll cross that bridge when we redesign this thing from scratch for the 55th time. But the question then is, do we want other stuff in here? And that's a question I'm going to ignore. I think. We could put the battery in there and then just have the speaker sit on top of it, and that would be kind of like this height. That little footprint would just be where the battery's set. It's possible. But the other consideration was like other controls or electronics or doodads or whatever, and I just don't quite know about that. Just not sure. So, okay. I am going to be done for the day. This is what I get when I don't stream Sudoku. Also, I'm streaming at kind of a weird time, so that's another problem. So, yeah, I think I am going to stew on that a little bit, and then maybe I'll stream again today, or if not, stream tomorrow, and probably do like a software pass of the idea of breaking this little daemon into its own process. And we'll put that in Docker also, because why not? And then Fluid Synth will be in Docker, and Homebridge will be in Docker, and then all of those things will talk via something called MIDI. I don't know what's wrong with my brain. Containers in a container. I don't want to go too far, but maybe I will. I mean, you know, there's plenty of people who've got like containers inside of VM, inside of it's containers all the way down. That's like nested inheritance, Ben. I don't want to do that. But the thing I do like about containers, kind of, sort of, is then you just have a very reliable way to recreate them when you switch hardware or test, especially if you're like testing on a computer and you want to switch to test on the Raspberry Pi or whatever. that stuff becomes kind of nice. Kind of like this idea of MIDI-based routing on all of this, because a insane way that I could choose to do this, which maybe I will do this now that I'm saying it, is that I can pass the sound device hierarchy into all these containers. So they will have a shared sound environment, including MIDI. So the question then is like whose job it is to kind of connect them together. And I don't know. I don't know the answer to that, but I will learn it. And maybe we don't. Maybe we just use A-Connect on the outside. I'm not sure. Okay, I'm leaving. Ben, thanks for stopping by. Anybody else who's hanging out, throwing tomatoes, appreciate it. I'll see you next time. Bye.